The cargo bay of the salvage vessel Meridian's Hope smelled of rust and recycled air. Ellen Ward wiped the grease from his hands onto his already stained coveralls, muttering about the faulty coolant system that had plagued him for the past 3 days. He wasn't a doctor, wasn't a soldier, wasn't anything special, just a salvager trying to scrape together enough credits to keep his ship flying and his belly full. The distress beacon had been weak, almost imperceptible against the cosmic background noise. Most salvagers would have ignored it, written it off as space debris or a malfunctioning buoy. But Ellen had always been too curious for his own good and perhaps too kind. That combination of traits had kept him broke more often than not. What he found floating in the debris field of what was once a magnificent warship defied explanation. She was massive, nearly 8 feet tall even in her crumpled, broken state. Scales that shimmered between deep crimson and obsidian covered her body, though many were cracked or missing entirely. Wings that should have been majestic hung torn and useless from her back. Her face was both reptilian and hauntingly humanoid, with elegant horns that curved back from her skull. Blood startlingly red, almost human, pooled beneath her in the zero-gravity environment, forming grotesque spheres that drifted in the cargo hold. "What in the nine hells are you?" Alan whispered, but he was already moving, already reaching for his emergency medical kit. He had no idea if human medicine would work on whatever she was, but doing nothing wasn't an option. His grandfather had been a medic in the colonial wars, and some of that knowledge had trickled down through stories and demonstrations during Alan's childhood. First, stop the bleeding. The largest wound was across her torso, a savage tear that looked like it had been made by something with molecular-edge claws. Alan's hands shook as he applied coagulant foam, expensive stuff he'd been saving for his own emergencies. The foam hissed and expanded, and to his relief it seemed to work. The blood flow slowed, then stopped. "Come on, stay with me," he muttered, checking her vital signs with his scanner. Her physiology was alien, but the scanner detected a heartbeat strong, but irregular. Temperature elevated. Possible infection or toxin. He spent the next 6 hours working on her. He set what he hoped were broken bones, using splints designed for humans but adjusted as best he could. He cleaned and sealed smaller wounds with surgical adhesive. He administered broad-spectrum antibiotics, praying they wouldn't poison her. When her breathing became labored, he rigged up an oxygen feed, adjusting the mixture until her chest rose and fell more steadily. Ellen had no idea what he was doing, not really. He was making it up as he went along, trusting instinct and the basic principle that most carbon-based life forms shared certain fundamental needs. Throughout it all, she remained unconscious, her scaled chest rising and falling with each breath. As he worked, he noticed details. Scars, hundreds of them, layered over each other like a history written in pain. Some were clearly old, faded to silver against her scales. Others were relatively recent. This being had seen more combat than any soldier Ellen had ever encountered during his brief stint in the Merchant Marine. Around her neck hung a pendant, somehow unbroken despite the devastation around it. The symbol etched into the metal was unfamiliar, but it radiated craftsmanship and importance. Ellen left it untouched. It was on the 3rd day when she finally stirred. Her eyes opened slowly, brilliant gold with slit pupils that focused on him with predatory intensity. Ellen froze, suddenly aware of how small and fragile he was compared to this creature. One swipe of those clawed hands could disembowel him. Those fangs could tear through his throat effortlessly. "Easy," he said softly, raising his hands. "You're safe. You were hurt." "I've been trying to help." She stared at him for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Then, in a voice like grinding stone and silk combined, she spoke. "You ... treated my wounds." "Yes. Well, I tried. I'm not sure if human medicine..." "Why?" The question caught him off guard. "Why? Because you were dying." Because it was the right thing to do. Something flickered in those golden eyes. Confusion, perhaps, or disbelief. "You do not know who I am, should I?" Ellen asked, pulling up a crate to sit on. His back ached from 3 days of hunching over her. "You got a name?" "Sirith." She said it like it should mean something, like it should make him cower or prostrate himself. "Nice to meet you, Sirith. I'm Ellen Ward. How are you feeling?" She attempted to sit up, winced, and fell back. For the first time, something like vulnerability crossed her features. "Weak, injured. This should not be possible." "Yeah, well, you were in pretty bad shape when I found you." "Whatever hit you hit hard." Ellen stood, fetching a container of water. "Here, try to drink something." She accepted the water with obvious suspicion, sniffed it, then drank carefully. When she finished, she fixed him with that intense stare again. The fleet that attacked me. Did you see any survivors? Just debris, I'm sorry. Whatever happened out there, it was catastrophic. Sirith's claws dug into the medical cot beneath her, tearing through the reinforced fabric like paper. The Cathorian Dominion finally found me. They sent 12 dreadnoughts. 12? Ellen's eyes widened. A single dreadnought carried enough firepower to level a planet, and you survived? I destroyed 11. She said it matter-of-factly, without boasting. The 12th caught me in the blast wave of my own attack. I miscalculated. Ellen's mind reeled. 11 dreadnoughts. Destroyed. By one being. What are you? I am Sireth the Unyielding, breaker of the 7th Fleet, the one who burned the twin sons of Korax. The galaxy's most feared warrior. She paused, studying his face. And you have never heard of me. I'm a salvager. I don't really keep up with galactic politics or military stuff. I just find things, fix things, sell things. For the first time, something that might have been a smile touched her reptilian features. A salvager. You are not a warrior. Not a healer. Not even a soldier. Nope, just a guy trying to get by, and yet you saved the life of the most dangerous being in the galaxy. She laughed. A sound like distant thunder. The irony is extraordinary. Over the following days, as Sirith recovered, she told him fragments of her story. She had been engineered, created by a long-dead civilization as the ultimate weapon. For centuries, she had fought sometimes for causes she believed in, sometimes simply because fighting was what she was made for. Empires rose and fell based on which side she chose. Entire species negotiated treaties just to ensure she wouldn't turn her fury upon them. So why were they hunting you? Ellen asked one evening as he changed her bandages. Because I stopped. She looked away toward the viewport and the stars beyond. I grew tired of the killing. I wanted to find purpose beyond destruction. The Dominion saw my retirement as weakness. They decided to eliminate the threat I represented before I could be used against them. Doesn't sound very weak to me. You took out 11 dreadnoughts. 11 was not enough. Her voice carried a weight of something Ellen had come to recognize regret. My crew died. Warriors who chose to follow me into peace. They deserved better. Ellen sat back considering. You know, being strong isn't just about how many ships you can destroy. My grandfather used to say the hardest battles are the ones where you choose not to fight. Sirith turned those golden eyes on him. Your grandfather was wise. And you, Ellen Ward, are a strange human. I'll take that as a compliment. By the end of the second week, Sirith was moving around the ship, her wounds healing at a rate that astonished Ellen. Her kind, she explained, were built to endure. But even her accelerated healing couldn't have saved her without his intervention. The infections would have taken hold. The internal bleeding would have continued. She would have died in that debris field. I owe you a life debt, she said one day, standing at the viewport with her wings partially extended. They had healed remarkably well. In my culture, this is not taken lightly. You don't owe me anything, Ellen replied, running diagnostics on the navigation system. I did what anyone should do, but they do not. Sirith turned to face him. In all my centuries, countless beings have seen me wounded, vulnerable. They fled, or they attempted to finish what my enemies started. You are the first who simply helped. Ellen shrugged, uncomfortable with the intensity of her gratitude. Maybe that says more about the company you've been keeping than it does about me. Perhaps. She moved closer, and despite her fearsome appearance, Ellen no longer felt threatened. I have decided something, Ellen Ward. You showed me that there is still honor in this galaxy, still compassion. I will help you as you help me. Help me do what? Whatever you wish. Salvaging seems peaceful. I think I would like to try peaceful. Ellen blinked. You want to be a salvager? You the most powerful fighter in the galaxy? Former fighter, she corrected. Now I am simply Sirith. And perhaps, if you will have me, I am crew of the Meridian's Hope. Ellen looked at this ancient weapon of war, this being of legend and terror, standing in his cargo bay asking for a chance at an ordinary life. He thought about his barely functional ship, his hand-to-mouth existence, the sheer absurdity of it all. Then he smiled. Well, I could use someone who can lift heavy things. Welcome aboard. And so the most powerful fighter in the galaxy became a salvager, learning to repair rather than destroy, to preserve rather than annihilate. She would never forget what she had been, but with Ellen Ward, a simple human who had seen her not as a legend or a threat, but as someone who needed help, she discovered what she could become. In the vast indifference of space, sometimes the greatest strength is knowing when to be gentle. And sometimes the most powerful act is simply reaching out to heal a stranger's wounds.